Do you have little money and happen to live in Ireland and want to feed yourself for as cheap as possible? Then I'm your man. Let us see what my last meal was: a chicken curry, mushroom and rice, €8. It lasted me for 3 days. So this meal will last another 3 days. I don't really worry about what people think anymore. I just want to help. Can't you let a man help? Okay. Let's see, can we flip the camera to my humble abode? Flip camera, please. Oh, there I am in the mirror. Okay. These are my beautiful creatures. They hunger like no other. That is Lucky, a very beautiful, sweet animal. 12 years old, golden, the most loving relationship I've ever had in my life among beings. This is Bruno, the master of destruction. He will tear things apart that cannot be torn apart. He is gifted in destruction, aren't you, Bruno? But like Lucky, he's a very loving creature. What's on the menu? An Irish standard, but Italian. It is spaghetti pasta bolognese. Very, very simple. How much does it cost? Let us see how much it costs. There is the spaghetti. €5. This sauce, I always go for the most reasonable. €1. We don't want to impress anyone. We want to get fed. And the mushrooms are 150. 150. So you're talking under €8, and you can get cheaper meat and super value than that. That steak mince could be genetically modified, but we don't care. We want full bellies. So here we go. And I thought to myself, what am I going to do while I'm cooking? I will tell you a story about hidden history. Hidden history. First question to ask. Do you trust politicians? Buy right food. I'm a humble man, not a bot like you. Buy right food. You'll be able to survive. Of course I will. The good Lord looks after me and I adore him. You see him there on the wall. I adore that man, and he is the saviour of Muslims, if you look into your Quran, and Christians alike. He is what matters, not the vanity of the world. Did you ever read about King Solomon? Did you study? Did you sit down and study everyone that you consider holy? Or are you entrapped in the world? Is the world your oyster? Is the riches of this world going to get you into eternity? Let me continue. There is a place that once existed, and it still does exist on this world, that has been hidden before your very eyes. And you can look it up if you want to. It's called Grand Tartaria. It was the greatest empire in the world. And if you go into the CIA files, if you take the time, take it easy, and do your research like I have, you will realize that Grand Tartaria was a huge kingdom hidden from history. Let us get it on. It's at number 6. I don't put any oil in that, by the way. I don't put any oil in that. I let the fat out of the oil cook the meat. And what I do is I don't like the fat when it's broken down. I give it to my beautiful dog because I'm fat enough already. And mushrooms, it's very, very simple. I am trying to be useful here, but let's continue with Gran Trattoria. I came across Gran Trattoria on the internet by accident. I looked into ancient maps and there was a huge map from hundreds of years ago about Gran Trattoria, where Muslims and Christians walked arm in arm. And now the agenda is set to turn us against each other. Hate is being harvested throughout the world. You must hate this, you must hate that person, you must hate foreigners, you must hate. I don't think it's very nice to be a hateful person. What good is hate? How is hate going to ever help you? Look upon the animals. They don't hate. If you look after a poor old dog, he'll always love you. Isn't that right, Bruno? Isn't that right, my sweetheart, Lucky? You will get some pasta soon, Lucky. Yes. If you don't have love in your life, you never had a dog. Sacred creatures, I adored old dogs. So yes, Gran Trattoria. If you look up in the CIA files, you will find revisionism in history. You Google it now, and you will see it. And you can sneer all you like at me. What I'm doing is I'm trying to enlighten minds. I'm the same as you. I'm just an ordinary man that was put on this earth, the same as you. And I'm trying to do good in the world. But it's getting harder to do good. It's getting harder to do good because the values have disappeared. The important things have disappeared. People are more focused on their television and their bodies than spirituality. This is a fact. This is a fact. They don't want to be good people. They want to impress everyone else. Why impress everyone else? Why? What's the point in doing that? One day you will leave this earth and you'll have to meet your maker. And that's eternity that you're gambling with. Why not try to be the best person you can be and get along with everyone? Because the media will tell you to hate everybody else. To hate. This person is to blame. They are taking our jobs, all that. I welcome foreigners to Ireland. I do. That's the truth. I welcome them all because I believe that it is divine will that they're here. I do believe that, I do. And I believe that we all should try to be kind to each other to foster a positive outcome in the actions of other people. What did I do to help me be a better person? I turned off the television. That's what I did. I stopped looking at soap operas and rubbish. People fill their minds full of rubbish. They're obsessed with rubbish. And then it takes over their mind and they compare themselves to the characters in what they watch. And they no longer control their own destiny. These are words, whether you might like to hear or not, that are the truth. And I don't seek glory, I give glory to Almighty God. That's it. So here we are, two viewers cooking. I stood up all night writing. That's what I've been doing all night. I've been writing, scribing, writing poetry, and I wrote an old song earlier on today. That's what I love to do, is to create. To try and create something beautiful to share with the world. That's what I try to do. I hope one day when I leave this earth that I've done some good through what I do. Now, I think that's going well. That's going well. And you know what I do? I put the mushrooms underneath it. I put the mushrooms underneath it, and I let the oil of the meat soak down through the mushrooms and cook the mushrooms and release their beautiful juices. Now, where are we going? Oh yes, mushrooms here. Here's our mushrooms. And you can use half a pack. I use half a pack of mushrooms. There we go. I emptied out to one side there. And I put the flat side down like that. You see, people would pretend, oh, cook some decent food and all this sort of thing. Not everybody is wealthy, you know. Some of us don't like the blow of fortune. The food that I've been cooking between this and the last video will only cost you less, is 16 euros. 16 euros for 6 days. And these people who will tell you, oh, cook decent food, have pride in their hearts. They have pride in their hearts, and they want to show off and show you that they're better than you because they spend more money than you, which is stupid, wasteful, and ridiculous. Eat what you need. Be careful with your money. Be healthy as you can. If you want, like, you know, if you don't want to cook meat, you can cook vegetables in the very same way. Now, do you see what I'm doing there? I have my mushrooms underneath. I bring my meat across like that. But have a look into Grand Tartaria and you will see. You will see there's lots of videos. YouTube is a wonderful source of information. And if you are a wise man or woman, you will look at all sides of every story. You will hear it all out and logically surmise an intelligent conclusion. So here we are. Here's our food. I wanted something to talk about and it just came into my mind. Maybe the good Lord put it in my mind to talk about that, about Grand Tartaria. And what about, and there's orphan trains. Pictures of years ago of orphan trains all over America, which is very interesting. Look into that too. I remember when the jab season started and the lockdowns, a nurse that used to come into me, says, do you want to get it? And I told her straight out, I says, I am a conspiracy theorist. I didn't take it. And now people are dropping dead, left, right and centre. If you took it, God help you, like, you know, I'm not gonna judge you for doing that. No, I don't want to judge anyone of doing anything that they think is right at the time. It's kind of like a poker game. You do what you think is right at the time. But I just do not trust the pharmaceutical industries or governments. Did a politician ever lie in front of your eyes? Did he ever tell a lie on television and be caught out on it? So if someone tells one lie, would you trust them? Would you trust a person who tells you one lie? I wouldn't. That's the way I look at it. When someone lies to me once, to me, they're deemed untrustworthy. So you have to expand on that. Would governments lie? Would governments lie, and would the history makers lie? If governments would lie and history makers would lie, it's told from one perspective. Do you want a full knowledge or a partial interpretation? So there you go. That's going pretty well now. Now, this is what I do. I boil the kettle. I boil it again. Life as a guest. People are trying to join me as guests, you know. No, I'm on my own. for the rest of my life. I am. But you know what I became? My own best friend. I learned to find peace, and I hope you do too. Because you will not find peace in all the world in what the media tells you is valuable. No. You'll find it on your own through self-sufficiency. And my only goal is to make a humble meal. I am not a proud man. I'm a humble man. And I make humble meals. And why should I be ashamed of having humility? It actually is a virtue. No. Oh. So here we go. Our pasta is going to be boiling soon. It will take approximately 10 minutes or less. I like the fusilli because it mixes well with the meat. I don't obsess with grinding down the meat. I sometimes leave it in chunks. Whatever way it turns out does not bother me. It does not bother me as long as I have a full meat. Do you know what I'm going to tell you? There's lots of people in the world that will be grateful to have that. And a holy man told me years ago, he told me about Ireland, and he said he worked out in Africa, that he had a ministry out in Africa. And he says the biggest problem in Ireland is the lack of gratitude. He says out in Africa, they eat one meal a day. Only one meal. And when things go well, they praise God, and when they don't, they kind of expect it that it might not work out. Gratitude is the key to happiness. According to this man, I think he's right. If you're grateful for everything, even the small things, it'll bring a lot of peace. So there you go. Here we go. Cook a decent meal, huh? This is a decent meal. The man said earlier on, his words is ringing in my ear. Bit more. I had to put on a bit extra for the dog. I like to give them pasta. Pasta is actually good for a dog's stomach. If you give it with no sauces. If you ask a vet, is pasta good for a dog? What it does is it removes the chemicals in their stomach if they're having bowel trouble. So here we go. In we go. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. What do you think, Bruno? Are you liking the look of that, are you? Huh? Isn't he a beautiful dog? I do adore him. He has the whole house destroyed, he does. He's a knack for finding things, clothes, and ripping them apart, and furniture and ripping them apart. But I would never let my poor old dogs outside. No, I would not do that. Now, here we go. That is about 3/4 cooked. I know by looking at it. We're nearly ready to add the sauce. And the juices of the mushrooms, yet again, will go into the meat, and it will give it a nice flavour. You can add peppers or whatever, or pepper or whatever if you like hotter carbonara or hotter bologese than that. You could also go chili con carne and boil rice instead, if that's your thing. My goal is to be helpful. That's the truth. And you know, the more time goes on, the less I care about people, what most people think, the more I want to be helpful in my writings and in what I do in life. So the way I'm looking at it is, these are two meals that will last for 6 days for €16 in Ireland. That's not too bad. That is not too bad, like, you know. And there's men I knew in college, when I was in university, that couldn't boil an egg. That's the truth. And it's a piece of cake. Here we go, come on. I'll have to put this down for a second. Aha, we're motoring. A little trick I do is, I'm into recycling, you know, I am. What you do is you boil a little bit of water, shake that, put the rest in. You'll add a little bit of water to that. So what I'll do is I'll take my kettle, I'll put a little bit of water. It's about it's about 7 a.m. here. 6 a.m. It's earlier. But I don't live by normal timelines. You can invite me all you like. I won't interact. No, thank you. I'm here to be useful, not to be in a social club. Here we go. That's boiling. That's boiling. So that's the story earlier on about Grantataria. I'd advise you to do research. If you think I'm giving you a fib, I believe that history has been altered, but if you look in the CIA documents and you Google altered, what's it called, revised history, you will find files, lots of files of revised history. Now, let's boil on a little bit over. What we do is we turn it down a little bit. Turn it down a little bit if it's boiling over. And we give this a little bit of a stir. Don't make it stick to the pan. You don't want that, you don't want burnt meat. You don't leave it there. You finesse it a little bit. And mark my words, you'll get 3 days out of that. You will. You put on enough pasta, you'll get 3 days out of that. 3 days, €8. It makes sense. I do like the mushrooms. You could use peppers if you wanted. You could use whatever vegetable that you like the most. But I find that the mushrooms are juicy and they go well with the meat. How long am I doing this? Since I was a boy. And I'm 47 now. Oh, my word. I am a smoker, God help me. I am. And a drinker as well. But I don't like to waste my time. I like to be useful if I can. And the last video reached over 1,000 people. And I'm hopeful that it helped some people. Because some people would be too proud to tell you that they're strapped for cash and they're struggling to survive. But the way I look at it is, these 2 meals, the meal that I made before and the video I made before, will only cost you €16 to do all that. To feed yourself for 6 days, and maybe you could go out for a meal the 7th day. Some people like to put oil with the pasta. I don't. Give it a little bit of a stir. Some people like it well done, and some people like it al dente, which is a little bit hard. That will be ready now. Do you know what I'm going to tell you? If you were really hungry, that will be ready now. How long? I don't know exactly how long I've been on here. getting used to it, to the app of live streaming. I live streamed a bit of music before. It was good fun. Now, that's time to turn down. When it starts sticking to the pan, turn it down to a 4. You know, you don't want too much of that. You don't. A little bit is no harm, but you don't want to be eating burnt meat. No, you see, that's all right. That's not too bad at all. That meat is as good as ready. So what you do then, you take your lid if you have one, put it there, stick it over off the heat. Down to a 0 there. That pasta, all that needs to happen with that is to be drained, and voila, you're fed for 3 days. So there's my little narration of how you can eat on €8 for 3 days if you're a solo man or woman. God bless you and keep you well. On €8 for 3 days if you're a solo man or woman. God bless you and keep you well.